Massive episode, this one. You guys asked for it. We've delivered. Craig Bellamy on the podcast. Listening to his playing days, he talks about coaching, has a few funny yarns in there as well. So tune in for part one and we'll get into it. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Lotus Living. We're creating vibrant communities like Jubilee Estate where families thrive. Right now, we're offering $30,000 rebates on land. Visit lotusliving.com.au and start your journey home today. Let's get into the show. All right, welcome back. Clubhouse episode 28. Very special guest this podcast. We all seen the clip last week. Didn't think it was going to happen. A little bit reluctant to come on, but we've got the great man. It's going to be a bit weird interviewing him today, but happy to have Mun and Hughesy in here to help throw some barbs. But Craig Bellamy, welcome to the Clubhouse podcast. Stoked to be here by the looks of things.
Don't make a promise you can't keep, mate.
Jeez, I really appreciate you having me, boys.
Thank you. 40 minutes.
Yeah, we've only got an hour here. We obviously couldn't afford any longer, so we've got him
Anything
here.
over an hour, we have to pay more, so we thought we'd keep it under an hour.
One cup of coffee at 2.
More than that category, but no, good to have you on Bellyache. Obviously, it's not many podcasts you've done, but I listened to your one with Howie the other, I think you did it 2019, I think it was.
It was a fair while ago. Yeah.
And after that one, the year after we won the premiership. So hopefully it's a good omen. Hopefully you're on here and good things happen after this too. But no, thank you for coming on. And I guess we sort of heard your journey on Howie's games. But
it was a journey getting here, actually. I was told the
tell
lie.
the story.
5 minutes, Hughesy said it was. Fucking half hour later, I'm parking the car,
minutes.
mate. Yeah.
It was pretty funny. I told him to follow me because we had lunch together as a team, obviously, and I said, "Bell's all right, follow me, I'll take you there." And I was just looking in my rear view, and he's just, I don't know if you're on the phone or you're just spraying me for taking so long.
No, spraying, mate.
Like,
where
he
we
was
getting
like
there?
pulling his hair out. He was driving, going, listen. I was like, fuck, is he on the phone to Wendy or something? What's going on here? But yeah, I just realised it's because it was taking so long.
Canberra.
Patience isn't one of your
It
virtues.
was legit 7 minutes, so.
bit of school traffic, but Richmond
Yeah,
to
it
Abbotsford, literally the next suburb though. So.
It is close.
That's fair.
Not too
So
bad.
on a good day, it's 5 minutes, but I didn't take
a bad day,
into consideration the school traffic, but appreciate you.
Yeah, but I think
Right, let's get on with
you've
it.
definitely been our one of our most requested guests to come on the podcast. So it's very good to have you on. We obviously had Buller a couple of weeks ago, but we got you this week. So I guess for those who don't know, they don't probably realise, but you actually played NRL back in the day, didn't you? And won a premiership.
Well, I turned up, actually.
But won a premiership. That's something I didn't notice. But it's quite a funny story too, isn't it? Your first premiership with Canberra.
Well, it depends what sort of sense of humour you got. It's a little bit funny.
Yeah, go on then. Tell us about that.
Well, I didn't play long. Okay, I think I played 5 minutes, and I think the coach at the time was Tim Sheens, and with all due respect, I think he felt sorry for me, so he put me on. But actually, I missed the grand final in '89. That was when Canberra won their first grand final, and I was injured. I had a shoulder reconstruction, so I was really disappointed in missing that. So in 1990, I was playing reserve grade, and back then there was three games every game day. So the under 21s were reserve grade and first grade. So I was captain of reserve grade, and the three sides made grand finals. And the reserve grade, we were the only ones that got knocked off. So we actually went, I think, extra time in the reserve grade, and then extra time again. And the Broncos actually beat us. I think they scored a try right at the end of it. So I'm down the dumps. Lost the grand final, and back in them days, you had fresh guys on the bench, and then two guys that had played a full game the same day. So you had two fresh guys, Tim Sheens, and then me and someone else come onto the bench. And actually, like I say, I think he felt sorry for me, Tim. he put me on with about 4 minutes to go, and I'm thinking, I think we're only about 4 in front or 5 in front. And I'm thinking, I'm not quite sure I would have fucking done that as a coach. But, I imagine if I went out there and missed a tackle and they'd have scored and beat us. But, but that was probably the highlight of my career, to be on a winning, a grand final, to play in the grand final. I always dreamed of that as a kid, but to actually be on the field at the end and we'd won, I was over the moon, you know, like even though I was really disappointed how we lost the reserve grade grand final. But so that was sort of my only experience as a player in grand finals.
There was a photo of you with the trophy holding it up and your jersey's clean and all the players around you all like dirty and muddy. That's how I remember you obviously telling us the story because you were so clean. You didn't make a tackle or get tackled, but it was good to see.
Hey, you still got on the field, though. It still counts.
Well, I tell you, I think you're right, mate. So I think I missed a tackle. And then I was the last one to touch the ball. Penrith dropped it and I dived on it. And it was full time.
To steal the game.
That was it. So that was my claim to fame. But it was, my story is, I was probably one of the first ones to get hold of the gilt and seal and carry it around. I used to say, I always said, these guys are that tired. I was trying to help them out a little bit. So it's heavy, that shield, very heavy.
Well, all your reserve grade boys are just somber in the sheds, eh? You just run out 4 minutes.
So did you know that you were playing that before you played your reserve grade game?
No. Like you had two back in them days. You had two fresh guys.
Yeah,
and then you could have another two, but they had to play half a game.
Yeah. But did you? Before your reserve grade game, did Tim Sheen say you want to be playing the... No, you didn't know.
He'd know who the 15 is,
but
he'd just pick after that game. Really? And if we didn't play in the reserve grade game, you'd be able to have, I think in the finals, you could have another, two. Yeah. But, because we had, with 3 teams in there, that's how it works. So, I didn't know. He just sort of said, I think they usually, actually, I do think you could put 6 or 7 on there, but you could only use 2. Yeah, so I think you didn't have to pick those guys out. So you could pick the guys out for the 15.
Yeah.
But then you could have 8 blokes on the bench, but you can only use 2 of them.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Would you like that now?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I thought it was a pretty good system. Again, it's obviously different but then you could only make the full replacements. So it has changed a lot in that way.
You said obviously, was it 89 you done your shoulder?
Rico.
Yeah.
Shoulder Rico, was that?
What was that from? That wasn't from that I think scoring a try, was it?
Yeah, probably was.
We got to get that clip up. We'll get the clip up. It's a good clip. You still scored the try, though.
Mate, it only happened to me, scoring a try and then my shoulder comes out. And actually, they all used to give it to me, like Ricky Stewart and Clyde and that, and they were saying, I was going over for a try. There was no one within 10 metres of opposition, and I went to sort of straighten a little bit to get a bit closer to the post, I think, and flipped my own heel.
Tripped yourself over.
So I tripped myself over. So
definitely got the clip, I reckon.
We'll get that clip.
Yeah.
It's a good
How many games did you play for Canberra?
I think it was about 146 or just under 150 first grade games. And
that's a pretty big career, but still, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it started, were you one of the first Canberra teams? Was that right?
Yeah, I was there the first year we started. I didn't play first grade straight away. I think we probably played 6 or 8 games before I started playing first grade. But I was there at the start. And, like Don Ferner, who was our coach, and he was a hard taskmaster with the training. We used to have these, our training was mad hour. Pre-season, because everyone was working then. There was no sort of full-time footy, but we trained 3 times a week in pre-season, and it was just a mad hour, we used to call it. We used to have this trainer, a bloke called Brian Burke. He was as fit as, he would have been well into his 50s then, but he was, mate, fittest man I've ever seen, but he was mad too, just crazy with how hard we trained, we weren't as skillful as a lot of teams, but that sort of, when that sort of changed a bit, when Tim started coaching, it was a bit more game specific and whatever. Yeah, but I think it was good for a new club, a young club, to get that bit of toughness in us, physically and mentally, and so I think it worked well for the other guys that come in a little bit later.
With your transitioning over footy, I know you obviously played 148 games for Canberra. Do you ever think you'd have got a coach after footy, or you just started to transition into that after
Now,
Like, did you know, like maybe in the middle of that year that you were going to retire and go into coaching, or you just thought you were going to go back to Portland and work at home?
no, I probably wasn't going to go back to Portland. That was probably in the plans. But the one, I just, I always loved the game, even as a kid. I just and my, I suppose, my passion, I suppose, for the part of the game, or the, when I was going to retire, when I was going to finish playing, was always around that strength conditioning, because we had a guy called Sean McRae who was a strength conditioning coach there for a while when the coaches and the what's name become full time, and so he left to go over to coach at St Helens over in England. So I took over the strength conditioning in '96 at the Raiders, and then the next year, Mal Meninga come in when Tim left, and I just was his assistant coach. And then after that, I went to the Broncos. But my 5 years at the Broncos, everyone thinks I was the coach up there, but I was their performance coordinator, which is your strength conditioning coach.
Now, Lockie Penfold.
Yeah, basically.
Same thing.
But we had a strength coach, so I done all the conditioning, and he was part time, and he'd come in. Dan Baker, he was a really good coach as well. But but during that time, like up at the Broncos, Wayne never had an assistant coach. So, and during the season, like on pre-season, it was really busy in the job I had, performance coordinator, getting all the fitness stuff done and whatever, and injuries and whatever. But during the season, I found I had a fair bit of time on my hands, and him and Tim were very different in how they coached, Tim was very technical, tactical, basically knew what the opposition was going to do, nearly on every play type thing. So I used to give Wayne a few notes on the opposition. When I had a bit of time, I'd watch the opposition and give it to him, because he wouldn't even sort of talk about the opposition. Sometimes you get up on game day, who are we playing today? That's how I felt there. So I just give him some notes on stuff, and then I remember the first time I give it to him, he's looked at it and then looked at me as if, what the hell is this? And then just screwed it up, put it in the bin. Anyway, but I thought, stuff you, I'm going to keep at you. So the next week I give you some more. Then all of a sudden he probably about 4 weeks later, 6 weeks later, he said, I'll tell you, at this session, I can't remember which session it was, during the week, but you got 20 minutes to do a bit on the opposition. So then I started just doing that, and so I was sort of part of that coaching in that way, So that's how I ended up doing a little bit of coaching there. And then Wayne was, as I said, my passion was the strength conditioning side, not so much the coaching. But when Wayne was coaching Origin, and he used to so he'd go into camp Origin on a Tuesday, and then I'd sort of do the training with the team, but he'd come back for the game, and then he just coached the game, and then, we do the same at the next Origin. But there, for some reason, I'm not quite sure what happened, but I think it was might have been the third Origin in 2000. And he said, listen, I ain't coming back for the game. I think they must have went so well, Queensland or whatever, so he felt pressure, or he felt the need, he had to stay in the camp with them. So he stayed in camp and said, so you'll have to coach him on game day as well. I thought, yeah, that's all right. I'd sort of done it in Canberra with under 21s and that, but anyway, so with that, and we had 9 or 10 players in Origin, the Broncos, and
Baby Broncos.
Baby Broncos. So, and we went down there. No one thought we was going to win, but we did. But I had them for about 1 session, 2 sessions at most, and all of a sudden I'm the next best thing since sliced bread, which was ridiculous, But and then all of a sudden, I got an offer from this club and an offer from that club, and then the offer sort of come from John Rubbo. He come up and had a chat to me and explained a few things, and I thought, I was interested in that, But like then the kids loved living in Brisbane, and Wendy was sort of like living in Brisbane as well, and I like the sunshine as well, but. Thought this is, if I'm ever going to, take a chance here, this is it. So that's how it all started, really, which is quite an unbelievable story, But it's funny how things happen.
So you pretty much come down here with no experience. Well, experience, but no head coaching experience.
Well, I coached the 21s at Canberra for 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So that was when I first retired. Like I remember Tim saying to me, he said, "Mate, if you want to get in," and I just wanted to stay involved in the game too, you know. Yeah. But as I said, my passion was that strength conditioning area. But he said, "Hey, listen, if you retire, this year, you can have the 21s job." I think I wanted to play on, so I think he.
Tap on the shoulder. Sorry, mate.
Tim was a really nice guy, so I think he just sort of said, "Like, I got to get rid of this bloke as a player, so I'll give you the 21s job." So I coached the 21s for 3 years, so that was that bit of experience, and then I went back into the strength conditioning area, for Canberra and then Brisbane. So, but I'm sure I've asked him a couple of times, Tim, but he denies that. But I think he's just too nice. I think we got to get rid of him.
Give him a job. We'll give him a job.
We'll give him a job as a 21s coach.
Just want to play a few more.
So I'm not playing next year.
So have you always been a coach who's obviously, you can see the clips, are quite intense and quite hard on your players, but I think harsh but fair. But have you always been like that, or has it been something you sort of picked up along the way and that's how you've learned that people react best to? Or how's your sort of coaching philosophy come about? Because, like I said, you coached the 21s for a few years, but then you're under Wayne, you're under Tim Sheens. Three very different guys. So.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, they were different in how they coached and I suppose their mentalities and, their body language at times and their language at times as well. So, I think I've always been very emotional bloke, I suppose. It's funny how you see what traits you get from your parents. My dad was the nicest bloke in the world, so I'm not quite sure I got too much from him. but my mum, she had some fire in her. She didn't mind the blue on the sidelines when I was playing juniors, and stuff like that. So I think I got my I suppose a little bit of that attitude, from her. So I was always sort of, emotional about things, especially footy, like something that's important to you. I'm quite emotional about. And, at the end of the day, like they stick a camera up in the box and, they get a bit of value out of that, which is fine. But at the end of the day, I used to cringe a bit, but now it is what it is. And, I don't particularly like it, but at the end of the day, I think I'm a lot more calm. I don't know if calm's the right word, like around training and around you guys. Like I don't give individual sprays like I used to. Like it's a couple of times I probably, would have been fair enough someone to put one on the jaw, on the chin. But I think some of that, just being a bit cool or a bit more mellow, that might be the word. And a couple of people have said it to me, and I don't know whether it's right, but I'm thinking, I've been a bit like that for a little while now. But when Billy was born, my granddaughter, and like a couple of people said that, you just seem a little bit more mellow, a bit more relaxed. Like sometimes you wouldn't think that in the box, but I think around training and that I am like that, and and these days, I don't think you get away with some of the things I said to some of the players, going back a bit when I first started. So, I think I probably had to pull my head in a little bit, but at the same time, that's a bit of who I am, like that emotional. And the thing I pride myself on and I try to do is just be honest. At some stage, you've got to be honest. You can. I think I deliver the message in a little bit different way, in a little bit calmer way now. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell someone something that I don't really think. I'm going to tell them what I think, and then we go from there. But I think it's how I delivered the message is probably the biggest change, that's been in my coaching.
I can agree on that. I remember I used to bring Billy in a couple of times and you forgot what you want to go and spray me about.
That's right.
If anything goes wrong, we just bring the grandkids in and then we don't get sprayed. So.
That's all about it. What happened? He goes and plays with his grandchildren. So.
I think he's had a nickname for it, didn't it? I can't remember what it was, but it was like the Karma or
Pacifier.
The pacifier, something like that. The pacifier.
He definitely knew if he was like, get in the office now. Just trying to look around for the grandchildren. See if anyone's around. Bring them in there. Help.
There is one memorable one though, and it's obviously between you two. It's quite a well
Documented.
documented.
We got the real story about it. Yeah,
well,
I think we've got Munster's side.
We've got Mun's perspective on it, which we'll get him to reshare.
Yeah,
Hang on,
But I think it was.
Need to remind me here, boys.
Was it against Amy Park.
Amy Park, and you couldn't hear him, or he couldn't hear you.
You're in the tunnel.
On
You might have
the
been
thing.
sent to the bin.
You're in the bin. I think it might have been Rabbitohs.
Rabbitohs, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Remember you were on the thing, and he was screaming. Remember that?
No, remind me. I'll
get it
remember
up.
when you're
I'll get it up.
Adsy O'Brien was in the box with you.
Yeah.
And Adsy was on the mic and he was screaming at me going, "Man, when you get back on the field, I need you to fucking sort these boys out, get them calm and start going again." And then I would reply back, "Man, I'm not on the fucking field. Like, you should be able to get someone out to do it yourself." And then Fuss dropped the ball. And then he still had the button on the mic. And what you said through the mic, that was what rattled me.
Because you thought he was talking to you.
He thought he was talking to me, and I looked up and went, "Oh my God." And I shit myself, and then I looked over and I seen Fuss drop the ball. I'm like, "Oh, okay, sweet. It's
That's
not
all
about
right.
me."
Yeah.
But someone obviously done the meme and done everything
made
around
it
it.
look like
and make
you
it look
were
like you were
spraying him.
spraying me.
This is it here.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
You were like,
I was rattled because he was like, I was in the Adsy, and then Bellamy just come over the top, and I'm like, "Holy heck, what's happened?" And I looked up, and then I looked over and Fuss, and he knocked the ball on.
I wouldn't put you like that, mate.
No, thank you. I had it to my face, not to the mic.
I'm sure you had a few in the past. But no, like I said, you're quite hard on your sleeve and you're very passionate about what you do. I think what you said, you've got a saying, hard work sort of puts you where the good luck can find you. And that's a big thing you sort of drive us players on and everyone buys into. So where did that come about? What was your...
That come from my dad.
Your dad.
And he had a couple of rules that, I think I've followed, like sometimes as a kid, you get your parents telling you something and you don't really believe them, but or you don't want to believe them, I suppose, or stick to it, But he had a couple of rules. He used to always said, hard workers get lucky. And he said, sometimes you don't get as lucky as quickly as you would like, but you keep working hard, you'll get lucky. And the other one he had was, which I've always, tried to stick to, is you treat people how you'd like to be treated yourself. So, like I say, especially these days, probably not when I used to be class, but now, like, if I'm honest with a player about something, like I'll say to them, "Listen, dear, what do you think about that?" So they get a say. I remember a couple of times, Dad would say, I might have been out somewhere and perhaps I didn't do it. And he said, "Hey, you treat people how you want to be treated yourself." Anyway, Dad would leave the room and Mum would say, "Don't listen to him. You treat people how they treat you." So she sort of got in a little bit there. So I was a bit conflicted there, but I'd like to think that I'd followed Dad's advice. But so there are a couple of things that I suppose, you're talking about values and beliefs in your life, but they're the two that, I've really tried to follow. And, like I say, I really believe, in the hard work one, at the end of the day, if something's isn't important to you if it is important to you, well, it's worth putting the time and effort in to do it as best you can, whether that be something in sport or, being a father, being a mother, being, whatever it is, like if you don't put the time and effort in, you're not gonna get the results that you want.
So with that, when you first come to the club, what made you want to do the work program for all the players that first come to the club?
Yeah,
Is that something you always wanted to do as a head coach, or did it just come up to you? Did someone toss it up to you?
No. That was always, I just, and again, it was probably the era I was in. Like I played and I coached a bit too before full-time footy come in. So full-time footy come in the Super League war, which I think the first year was 95. So I was coaching, I started coaching the 21s, I think in 93, so in 94, and then full-time footy come in when they had the Super League war. But I just think, I just thought that time, that generation missed, we were playing footy full-time, but we were only still putting in the work in, or the training session, amount of training sessions and the work that we did part-time. You know, so I thought it like the players or the clubs I was involved with the players, that they didn't sort of pick up that full-time concept, and the workload, yeah. So that was, and you know, the main reason I did it was that mentality that, hey, listen, you know, this is you probably got a good opportunity. You have got an opportunity, but this is a pretty good way to live your life. If you love playing footy, you know, you need to make sure you're putting it all into it, but not taking it for granted. So, hey, go out there and just see for a couple of weeks how other people live. Normal people live. They put 8 hours in a day, and you know, like you guys are probably, you know, in the club, you know, 3 or 4 hours at most. You know, even they might be in every day. So that was just and just to sort of keep them grounded a little bit, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not a normal job, I suppose, or not a normal way that you just live. So just be aware of how everybody else lives, you know, and just be grateful for what you got, you know. So that was the bit of the mentality. Like there at the start, I thought I would do a month of this, and I thought, oh no, that's probably going to harm our footy a bit. So it's
6 months.
It's coming in after 10 days, like looking like zombies.
Well, they did. Like they would come in early, do their weights, and then
come back after
3 mornings a week, and then they were sort of training probably 4 afternoons a week, and then doing the 8 hours, you know, pick and shovel and whatever. So I think most of them, you know, got something out of it, I reckon.
What did you do for work when you played?
I was an electrician. Sparky. A very ordinary one of that. But, again, I was lucky when I went to Canberra. They, the Leafs Club was the Queensland Leafs Club. That was the financial, you know, backer of the Raiders. And so they gave me a job as a maintenance electrician. It was pretty cruisy job, very cruisy job. But
good.
But like I say, it's I was an electrician, and where I come from, you sort of, back then you used to go to school and you'd leave at year 10 or 4th form, as they used to call them. You used to go to 6th form, but so I left the 4th form. I was only 15, I think I was, nearly 16 when I started my electrical apprenticeship. I'd done on the county council, so. Like I say, I'd done that, and then I moved to Newcastle for a year and worked in a construction up there at the Raving Power Station, and so that was a little bit different. You know, they done things differently than, you know, like electricians. Like there's a fair divide in what you do. Like I was climbing up like poles and putting, you know, meters on houses and doing things, you know, like fixing PowerPoints and lights and that sort of stuff. Whereas you get on the construction side, it's just so much different. Yeah, right. Even though that you're both called electricians, it's like, you know, 180 degrees apart, you know. So there was a lot of different things in being an electrician. But like I say, I enjoyed my time probably doing it. But, you know, that's basically what every sort of male in Portland did. You know, they left school at year 10 and then got a apprenticeship. And back in them days, you know, if you didn't get an apprenticeship, you didn't want an apprenticeship. You know, you could do that because there was a lot of industry around the cement works and the coal mines and the power stations. You know, there was a heap of apprenticeships. So, you know, that's what it was. But like I say, I was just never really content with that. Like, you know, I wanted to do something else. And like I say, I just loved me footy, even though it was only part-time then. But, I just wanted to, work hard at it and do the best I can and see where that takes me.
So for the boys who obviously got through the work program quite easily, you decided to throw in a I don't quit camp at the end of it.
Yeah.
What was your thinking behind that?
Well, actually, like it was just we'd done a couple up in Brisbane. Like Wayne had done them. They weren't like overnights. They were just like a day thing. So I thought
still counts as a day one.
Yeah, just
no, it doesn't. We can't let him have it. He did one in Geelong this year. Remember? He's claiming it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm claiming it.
Yeah, but like I say, that I just think that's, you know, good. I've probably done it a little bit for me as well. I reckon that it helped me see who the guys that were going to hang in and had a bit of mental toughness about them. Like sometimes it's hard to see just in a footy training session, and you got 3 months before they play if they're new blokes to the club. It's just a little bit hard, whereas on that, like sometimes I'd learn just for that 2 days, 3 days, 2 nights. Sometimes that, before we were doing it, it'd take me 12 months to learn that, about them. Who would stand up when the going got tough, and so I think I didn't mean it in that way when I first started, I must say. It was just about a bit of a toughen up thing, but I reckon that really helped me, when I sort of realised that, when I thought, Jesus, like I've learned about this bloke in 4 days, and, if we're not doing this, it's probably taken me 12 months to do that.
So obviously, Husey hasn't gone on one, but do you remember Mun's experience? Do you remember what you thought of Mun after he done it?
Oh, I can't. It's a fair while ago now. He done one, but yeah.
I was terrible.
Were you?
Yeah, I was
what
terrible.
What year were you? You were...
I was 24, end of 2013, started 2014.
Yeah, how old were you then?
18, yeah, it was not great. I got bagged a fair bit on it. I remember I went to go get some water and I didn't even look, and I was obviously seeing pink elephants. But there's a big line and I pushed in all in front of them and got the water. And then,
You've seen them, bro. That's just arrogance. A young, arrogant Munster just thinking
when you stand up and say, who was good and who was bad? Every man the dog was saying Munster was poor because he didn't care about anyone else. And I was just like, far out. I almost started tearing up.
Nothing's changed.
No.
He's going to go back to Rocky after that.
I was going to go back to Rocky dig holds, eh?
That's it for part 1, guys. Tune in for part 2 now. Like I said, there's plenty of funny stories. Bellyache telling his coaching journey, what his values are, what his beliefs are. Very insightful and very relaxed for someone you didn't think was relaxed. But tune in now for part 2 and we'll get into it.
Thanks to everyone that has tuned into the Clubhouse podcast.
Episode's brought to you by RIXX Eyewear, and we've got something special for you. Introducing the brand new colour Oyster, a stunning light green crystal frame that's sure to turn heads. These shades come with light gradient lenses and are available in our 3 best-selling styles, Soho, Boston and Melrose. It's going to be this summer's most popular colour and it's a limited drop, so don't miss out. Head over to RIXX Eyewear and grab your pair before they're gone. Thanks to everyone for listening to The Clubhouse. This episode was brought to you by our friends at Lotus Living. Lotus Living create vibrant communities like Jubilee Estate where families thrive. Right now, we're offering 30k rebates on land. Visit lotusliving.com.au and start your journey home today.
Please make sure you have hit the subscribe button on all our channels and also following us on social media at Oz American Aces so that you don't miss out on any announcements.
Catch you at the Clubhouse.